Hello, everybody. So, the topic that I am going to talk about is something which is not somebody come across on day-to-day basis. This is something wherein we come across, uh, you can say, in a once in a few months, if you are lucky, uh, or you may come across once in a few weeks as well. So first of all, let me clarify or let me brief you that this is not about panic button. We are not talking about a panic button that we keep on our algo trading system. We are not talking about stop losses. We are talking about a scenario wherein we have a system which is performing well and has stopped performing, and we don't know where to stop it. So when do we stop the algo trading system, or how do we do that? Can we, is there any way we can automate that, or can we make it more rule based? That becomes a very crucial question, and that's something that can, make the system more robust. So this is also, we will see that how we can also regenerate our system that has been stopped, or which has already kill button has been pressed. So let's go ahead. So normally the what algo system cycle, the life cycle that we have is that conceptualization, backtesting, optimization, and implementation. So these are the four pillars. Of course, there are many other steps coming in between this. These are not the only four steps. There are many steps coming in between this. But how, what matters in a system is how you have conceptualized your system, how you have backtested it, uh, how did you optimize it, and when and how did you implement it. So these are the four basic pillars on which a system is, you can say, comes alive. And if any of this pillar is weak, can affect the system in long run. So once you have gone through this and you have a system, assuming that you have a system that you have gone live with, and that system is already performing for some time. So here's a equity chart for the people who, I assume everybody must be knowing equity chart. It's nothing else but a your chart of your profit and loss statement, or cumulative profit, you can say. So here's a system wherein your profit is quite encouraging. The chart is pretty encouraging, uh, and one can definitely fall in love with this kind of a system that is, uh, pretty much linear regression, and one would like to keep on trading this kind of system, right? So you have this kind of a system, and what you see after it performing for quite some time, you see that all of a sudden the system has stopped performing, it is bleeding, okay, and you don't know where to stop. So normally what happens is that you have uh, some stop losses and other, but many of the time, especially, the new traders, what they have is they forget to have a rule for when do I kill the system, when do I halt the system or stop the system from trading anymore. So that's a crucial thing, because it there is no holy grail. Okay, any system you are trading may come across either for some time, or it can be permanently, it can stop performing, and you will have to address to this particular question of where do we stop now. And you know normally we what happens is if the system is not made properly, or if the in sample and out sample data were not in the right proportion, and the moment you go live, it may stop performing, and you come to know that okay, that is the making of the system was not good enough, and you can stop it there itself, right? But if the system has already performed for quite a long time, in that scenario, it becomes difficult for the trader to decide when do we stop trading this system. So the trader normally falls in, come across this dilemma of what if this is the new drawdown. Okay, so it, you know that from the experience, the trader must be knowing that whatever drawdown you have seen in your back test, whatever drawdown you have seen with your historical data, is not the ultimate drawdown. The system is going to show you some new drawdown as well. Now, when the system is going to show you the new drawdown, if that drawdown is you come across this drawdown, say immediately after the starting the system, it becomes very easy for the trader to stop the system. But if the system has performed quite well for a longer time, then it becomes a bit difficult, because trader is under the assumption that this is a new drawdown, and normally experienced traders, they keep some margin for new MDD. So it can be possible that the trader might have a new MDD margin which he is utilizing. So system is bleeding, but he continues to trade with that. Another thing is that what is one, or the dilemma of the algo trader is recovery to a new high. So normally whenever the system is facing a drawdown, it there are possibility that it recovers from the drawdown and makes a new high, new equity high. So the trader is worried that if I stop the system and the system recovers from here and makes a new equity high, I'm going to lose the opportunity. I'm going to lose the opportunity. At the same time, that will be a wrong decision to stop the system over here. Another thing is losses already incurred, assuming it to be new MDD. So you have already put money on the table and you can't get it back unless you continue playing with it or you decide to lose it forever. So this is a dilemma which any of the trader can come across, and it's pretty difficult to address this dilemma, especially the more the money is already involved in it, that is, the more losses you have already incurred, the more difficult it is going to be. This may uh, the people who are already trading for quite some time may be able to relate to this quite easily. New trader may not have come across this kind of dilemmas, but will come across sometime uh, in their trading life. So this is an important part of it, wherein you don't know how to, or where do we stop the system, where do we press the kill button. So as I said earlier also, panic button is something which we already have, must have it in our system. It is already automated, so that's not what we are worrying about, that's not we are talking about. We are talking about kill button. Yeah. So deciding on when to stop algo trading is crucial as well as tough. The reason is that the most of the traders fall in the love with the system that has performed well in past. Another thing is that when the system is bleeding their portfolio, they don't know whether to stop the system or to continue it. So their portfolio is already affected. And the tough part is to decide when to stop. It's crucial, but at the same time, it's very tough to decide where do we stop, when do we stop it. So whenever I always say that whenever there is any kind of human intervention, the that part of the system, wherever there will be a human intervention, that's part of the system converts a algo trading system into a discretional trading system. Okay, because wherever the human are going to be involved, there is no rule base. So what happens in the present scenario, what is happening is that nowadays portfolios are not made of sectors, portfolios are not made of industries and all. They are made of set of algo strategies, and the sectors and industries come under that. So when you are heavily, your portfolio is heavily dependent on algo strategies, and if the strategies are not fully automated, when I'm talking about fully automation, I mean wherein each and every kind of scenario has been anticipated, and for each and every kind of scenario, there is a rule based automation already done, due to which there is no human intervention. So, if there has to be any intervention, human intervention in a algo trading, that should be to turn on the system in the morning and turn off the system in the evening. If that can be also automated, nothing like that. So, other than that, I think all the part of the system should be anticipated and rule-based system should be in place, and that's the only way wherein we can expect a better performance from their system. So if proper rule-based stopping system is not implemented, emotional involvement can ruin the portfolio's performance. Uh, it has happened in past that many, if you are having a set of algo trading strategies, assuming that there might be 10 strategies, out of which there will be about 4 or 5 or maybe 3 strategies that are performing excellent, or they are contributing the most in the portfolio, right? Now when one of this strategy starts facing a drawdown, it becomes difficult because you don't want it to go, and you don't want it to stop. You're assuming that this is a drawdown, and you have seen that in the past, every new drawdown, every new valley was covered, and there was a new height that you have achieved. The equity chart has touched a new high. So I know this is a very crucial topic. I'll try to simplify this as much as possible. But if there are any question, can even during the presentation you can come up with your questions. So uh, this this particular stage, if there is a human involvement, what happens is that the human emotions can uh, divert the rule-based system into a discretional trading system, which is not what we want. As there are no rule to stop it or turn it on and off. For making it a rule-based decision taking, wherein there is no human intervention, we can have some kind of rules or tools that can be used, which can help us in making the turning on and off of the system. It's like a button, and that can definitely increase the performance, at the same time take away the human involvement totally. So here we are going to share one of the simple but very effective way to do it. If a moving average is added on an equity chart, it acts as a rule-based on-off button for the system. So when we say that on-off button, what we mean, this is not, again, not panic button, not a stop loss, but it's a, what we are talking about is the kill button. So wherein the system can go off from the market for maybe days or maybe weeks or maybe for months. So to have such kind of involvement, what we can do is, this is one of the example that we are giving, but it can be, you can come up with multiple way in your own, looking at your own system, wherein you can have on off button on the system. And once we have this, let us see that if the same equity chart that we had seen earlier, what we see over here is, once we have a moving average set on it, we can see that though there will be a minor setbacks over here, so this kind of setbacks will decrease the performance by few percentage. That will affect the overall percentage of the return, but that will be very minor compared to the drawdown. So when it is going for a major drawdown, or if the system has the market scenario has changed in a very big way, uh, the system is in no position to perform in this kind of market. In such scenario, instead of waiting and bleeding the portfolio, this kind of on off button can save your system and can keep you profitable, can get the best out of the system and still keep you in the market without losing the money, without putting the unnecessary money on the table. Where does this kind of tool work? We'll see over here. That is, it works best when the system's winners are higher. So if you are planning to just use this kind of a moving average, of course there are better ways as well. Not moving average is just an example, but there are better ways as well. Uh, but if you are trying to use this, you can use it on systems that has a high number of winners. Okay, it works well on the strategies that are based on scalping or statavs models, they or any that kind of strategies. This particular on off button will work quite well on that. But if your system is trend following, or the winners are low uh, in numbers, so by saying that winners are low doesn't mean that the system is loss making. Trending systems are pretty profitable systems. They are one of the best earners in the portfolio. But most probably, most of the time, the winners are low in trend following. Uh, while in scalping or setups or any that kind of strategies, what you will observe is that the winners are quite high and number of losers are low. So when you are going to use this, do not use it for trend following or where the winners are low. Do not use it for that. You may use it for scalping kind of, or even arbitrage kind of. Uh, so arbitrage very by arbitrage I mean setup, of course. Uh, so these are the models wherein your winners are definitely going to be very high compared to the losers. So when do we start the system again? So this is the fourth and the crucial part of it. That by now what happens is, once your system has gone through major drawdown or the change in the scenario of the market, you know that whatever the market condition, what change in the market condition has brought your system to a halt. So instead of just starting the system again whenever the market comes back, instead of doing that, uh, what you can do is, you can add a no trading zone. This is no trading zone in this the part of the system wherein you bypass the unfavorable market conditions. So what happens is if you have NTZ in your place in your system, you will be knowing when exactly your capital will not be utilized. Now suppose if you do not have that, you have not factored in or in your back test or in your out of sample test, you do not have it. In that scenario, what happens is that you have just capital, you don't know when the capital will be unutilized, it will be idle, and that will be a loss of opportunity. So for maximum capital utilization, it is important that the system should be performing uh, constantly, or when it is not performing, the trader should come to know that okay, in this particular time period it's not going to perform, okay, and it has gone into no trading zone. So in that scenario, trader can easily transfer the funds to other system, can allot it to better performing system, or instead of losing the opportunity of trading. uh, so one more thing what we uh, do is adding paper trade or mock trading the system before turning them on in live market. This helps in filtering the systems. So what do I mean by filtering the systems is when if you have a set of systems that you are using, and if you are going to mock trade it, you will realize that the back tested result and the out of sample results, there can be some variation. Similarly, out of sample results and the live trading result will have another set of variations. Okay, so the performance can differ by few percentage, which is quite normal. That can be for multiple reasons. That can be due to slippage. That can be due to hardware or software performance issue. So it can be multiple reasons because of which there is going to be some changes. So when you are going to do mock trading, in that scenario, of course, there is a difference between mock trading as well as the live trading. So if the mock trading, the performance is X, in live trading, the performance can be X minus 1. Okay, so that is quite possible. Uh, and that can happen on all the trading strategies. So what happens is while mock trading, many of the strategies that you are going to go live with may get filtered. So what we have done is we tested our 16 of our system which had come to halt, and after adding NTZ as well as mock trading, this was the result. So what has happened is from 16, the number of systems that got filtered out were 9. So you can say that 7 of our systems were not good enough. We realized during mock trading that 7 of our systems are not good enough for going live again. So here what we are talking about is for the system that have performed well in the past, number one. Number two, we are the system failed because of the change in the market scenario. It has not failed because of the software issue. It has not failed because of latency issue. It has not failed because of the hardware issue or any of kind of that issues. Okay, so it failed. It has performed in live market. We are also not talking about a system that has performed well only in the backtest or in the you can say forward work. We are not talking about that. We are talking about the systems that have really performed well in live market, and after a while they stopped performing, and because of which we had to press the kill button. So after pressing the kill button, what happens is that trader jumps from one system and to another starts looking for some other strategy, and starts using that strategy. After a while, that strategy again ends up, and they start looking for the some other strategy and keep jumping from one strategies to other. So here what we are saying is, instead of jumping from one strategy to other, which we are not saying that okay, looking for new strategy, new ideas is bad. What we are saying is that the strategies that have performed well in the past, try to regenerate them. And this is a way wherein what we have learned is that by doing this, uh, many of our systems that have performed well in the past, like many of the people might have realized that the system that was performing well in 2019 stopped performing after say February 20. So that kind of scenario, because there was a, you can say, a big change in the market condition. The everything Greeks changed, and many things have changed after that. So in such scenario, if there is a new no trading zone introduced, learn from them what went wrong instead of just giving up on the system. If you learn what went wrong and you can add that in the system may regenerate and can start again giving the better performance, right? So here what happened was that out of 16 strategies that we had, 7 of them were could not perform in the mock trading, and we had to let them go. 9 could perform, and we went live with that. Another thing what we observed was that the average halt in the weeks. So the when we say halt is the next time when the system stopped performing, and we had to, or the automatic system on off button when turn the system off. So that average duration to which the system performed, the 16 systems average what it was 21 weeks. Now after the adding NTZ as well as mock trading, the average halt in weeks went up to 29.5 weeks, which was pretty good because it was 40 plus percentage of increase in the duration of the system before we had to rework on the system. So the longevity of the system went up by almost 40%. That's the big push. Okay, so here we are talking about the average of the systems. Okay, so there can be some systems that have performed for few weeks, and there can be some systems that have performed for a quite a long period, or maybe a year as well. Okay, so keeping the normal return as 100%, assuming that the total return of 16 strategies was 100, what return we got from the NTZ and after paper trading was 138%. So there was a 38% jump on the performance side in 21 weeks. So we are now, the 38% jump was not due to the longer duration of the performance, okay, but keeping the duration to 21 weeks, which was the in the normal start, keeping to that only, there was a performance jump of about 38% in the trading system. Okay, uh, so now what the initial we had the life cycle or the pillars that we used to focus on, that is conceptualization, backtesting, optimization, and implementation, has been further changed to the new addition that we have is that conceptualization, backtesting, uh, optimization, and adding of NTZ, paper trading or mock trading, and implementation. So these are the few changes which has helped us in the performance, and uh, this can give you can say the longevity of the system works. At the same time, the portfolio's overall performance improves drastically. So, looking at this, that brings us to the end of our short scenario presentation.